Well, we're at day 4. You are almost halfway. When you finish day 4, you will be halfway through this course. Congratulations. That is, I think, a tremendous accomplishment. So, yay for you. Couple of things I want to point out about day 4. One, as always, I recommend that you start at the top of this page and just move through it down to the bottom, doing things in that order so that you don't miss anything. Make sure that everything that is due today gets sent to me at some point before the end of the day in your time zone. And let's have fun with this. So, first of all, the objectives for day 4 are to understand the difference between an empirically testable theory and a philosophy. We're going to have theory day, so get ready. We're also going to look at why theory is important to empirical research and education and how to develop your own theoretical perspective and use it to frame your research. These are all really important topics because the best research is theoretically relevant. That means that it either tests theory or it builds theory. We're going to focus on testing theory, which is a little more leaning towards a quantitative methodology, but there's some excellent, more qualitative research that builds theory, typically using a grounded theory approach, but there are other ways to do that as well. And you will see this in some of the content that you'll be reading and watching in the learning modules below. Speaking of which, I'd like for you to start by asking yourself, why is theory important to research? And taking a look at this video from the University of Southampton on the role of theory in research. I think they do, this professor in particular does a very good job of overviewing why theory is important, why research that is theoretically framed is especially relevant and timely and of high quality. I think it gets across the point that theory belongs in research and that you should think about what your theoretical or conceptual framework is. I'd like for you to read the online article or a web page or whatever you want to call it that is how to develop a research proposal. This is not exactly aligned with the theoretical focus of the day, but it is certainly very aligned with our ideas about creating a research proposal for the final product for this class. And I'd like for you to watch this video. It's a approximately 18-minute video on how to choose a theoretical framework for my dissertation, even though you may not be a doctoral student. Okay? This is, again, not an education researcher who's talking about this. In fact, I believe that he's a business school person. But the idea is that theoretically framing research that you're conducting as a student for a thesis, for a dissertation, for your own research study, for a grant, for whatever it might be, is important and brings quality, and it brings a unique and important way of thinking about whatever it is you're analyzing, so that you're not just looking at effects or impacts, but you're understanding the phenomena behind that. And then I've been pushing you for a couple of days prior to this to begin watching this series of videos that I did called Developing Your Research Idea and Proposal, parts 1 through 4. So hopefully you've already had some exposure to these 4 videos that are linked right here. I think that they're very helpful. This part that's highlighted right here where you fill in the blanks has been very helpful for students that I've worked with in the past, so please pay particular attention to that. All together, these 4 videos take up about an hour. They're each 15 minutes, more or less, and I think you'll find them very helpful. For your application activities, I would like for you to write what I'm calling a substantive theoretical framework section for your research proposal. And by substantive, I mean that you're really thinking about what your theory is. Now, I've said this, I think, in the videos and that I actually did that are earlier on this page, and that other people did that I've linked on this page. But I want to say it again here. You can use a theory that already exists out there. So, for example, in my own work, I tend to use a theory that is often called neo-institutional theory. All right, sounds boring, but I find it very interesting. You can use a theory like that somebody else has already established, that has particular characteristics or criteria, and you can say, all right, you know what, I think that this is a theory that is appropriate for framing the question that I'm asking. But you don't have to do that. You can make your own theory. Remember, a theory is just an explanation for some sort of phenomenon. Now, if there is a phenomenon that has already been explained by a theory, it would be really good to know that that other theory out there exists, and that way you can say either, I like part of this theory, I'm going to use part of it but not all of it, or I love this theory, I'm going to adopt it wholesale, or I'm going to reject this theory and come up with my own. That would be good. But whatever you do, really think about this and put some substance into what your theoretical framework is, your explanation for why whatever your problem, topic, or phenomenon is works the way it works. The other thing that I'd like for you to do is include a visual model of the relationship among variables that is in line with your theoretical perspective or conceptual framework. As an example, I mentioned earlier that I use a theory often called neo-institutional theory. It's very good for looking at macro, very large-scale phenomenon, at institutional, world-level phenomena or events. It's not very good for looking at micro-level events, and so I don't specifically in my own research look at a lot of micro-level, but if I did, I wouldn't use neo-institutional theory. So you want first of all, a theory that matches your topic, it matches the scope of what you're doing. And second of all, you want to think about these relationships among variables. So I'm very interested in models, or sometimes we call them scripts, about education. So there, for example, are certain things that we tend to expect teachers to say and to do. Right? And these ideas or expectations about teachers tend to be shared even across widely varying communities. Right? That's interesting. So I might have expectations about teachers as one of my variables, and then teacher observed behavior as another variable. And I'd try to be thinking about, well, how do these expectations actually relate to or connect to the behavior, that we can observe teachers engaging in. That might be part of my theoretical framework visual model. And I'd like for you to then email me your theoretical framework and visual model by the end of the day. And remember, this is a draft, and you've got a lot of resource material on the earlier part of this page, both in these videos and in some of the readings, to help you develop this. But ultimately, you're just putting together a draft, and I will make comments, I will get back to you, I will talk to you about what's working, what isn't working, and hopefully you'll have something that you can be proud of by the end of our 8 days together. As always, every day I would like for you to leave a reply here. If nothing else, you're just saying what you're doing and how you're sort of addressing this whole theory idea, or where you are in the process of the research proposal development, or how you're engaging the material. And feel free, please, to respond to one another and each other's comments in this leave a reply comment section. This is where you can actually interact with people in a way that you can't do otherwise because of the asynchronous nature of the course. And of course, if you have any questions for me, a great way to ask me is to send me an email. Hope you're having a great day. This is a good one. Monday, January 12th, day 4. Go get 'em.